so you want to figure out what exercises are best for you. I imagine you're frustrated and confused differentiating between real advice and grifters. Don't you worry, I have been doing this for a few years. Suckle on the teat of my exercise knowledge and become enriched, young viewer. So what are the best exercises? Here's the annoying answer. There is no single, most optimal exercise for every muscle group. An incline bench and a flat bench will both grow your chest, shoulders, and triceps. A barbell row and a chest-supported row will both build your back. There are differences, but beginners tend to obsess over details that barely matter. And if you're still new to lifting, there's an even better piece of news. Newbie gains! During the newbie gain phase, almost anything remotely reasonable will make you grow. Your body is so unaccustomed to resistance training that it responds to just about everything, provided you are training hard and recovering properly. But even during my newbie phase, I never quite recovered properly and still grew. Effort is by far the most important thing. Before we go on, I need to say something first. The most important variables in the beginning are showing up and training hard. But Matt, how do I know if I'm training hard enough? Oh, that's easy. Is there a rep slowdown you cannot control? If I put a gun to your head and told you to move that weight faster, could you? If the answer is no and your reps are slowing down because your muscles physically cannot produce the force to move the weight any faster, you're probably training hard enough. Another way to learn what true effort feels like is to occasionally take safe isolation exercises all the way to failure. Now, before somebody types an angry comment, I'm not saying every exercise needs to be taken to failure. Use common sense. But if you're doing something your joints tolerate well, like a tricep pushdown, taking that set to true failure can teach you what actual effort feels like. When I first started lifting, I thought I was training to failure. I was not. I was training until things got uncomfortable and then calling it failure. You know, the whole training to mild discomfort meme. All that did was slow down my progress. Do not make my mistake. So instead of asking, what is the perfect exercise? Ask a different question. Is it fun? Now, your definition of fun and my definition of fun might be different. When I say fun, I don't mean easy. I mean, is this an exercise you can see yourself coming back to week after week? Every meaningful workout involves some level of discomfort. There's a difference between challenging and grueling. For example, I love heavy barbell squats. They decimate my legs, but I still enjoy them. They give me a feeling of completion. Bulgarian split squats, on the other hand, use far less weight and somehow hurt. I despise them. And that's the point. As Reggie Fils-Aimé once said,
if it's not fun, why bother?
Training should have some degree of enjoyment. Even people like David Goggins find their own strange version of fun in the suffering.
Stay fucking hard!
If you absolutely hate an exercise, especially as a beginner, you're not going to stick with it. And in your first few years of lifting, consistency matters infinitely more than finding the quote-unquote perfect exercise. Compound versus isolation movements. These are big, scary fitness words, but they're actually pretty simple. A compound movement is any exercise that trains multiple muscle groups at once. Examples include the bench press, squat, deadlift, pull-up, row, and overhead press. Isolation movements, on the other hand, are exercises that primarily train a single muscle group. Examples include most curls, tricep pushdowns, tricep extensions, leg extensions, hamstring curls, calf raises, and many neck exercises. Though neck training is a topic for another video and isn't something a complete beginner should spend much time worrying about. So how do we use these when building a beginner program? Well, one option is to do nothing but compound lifts. After all, they're efficient, they allow you to use a lot of weight, and they build a ton of muscle. The problem is that compound lifts don't always distribute growth evenly. For example, a bench press trains your chest, shoulders, and triceps. A pull-up trains your back and biceps. You'll get some arm growth from these lifts, but the muscles doing most of the work tend to receive the most growth. That's where isolation exercises come in. Think of compounds as the foundation of the house and isolations as the finishing touches. I know to a lot of the advanced trainers, they're face palming, but this isn't for you, this is for a newbie, okay? So relax. The compounds build the majority of your physique, while the isolations help bring up muscles that need a little extra attention. As a beginner, a good rule of thumb is to build your workouts around compound lifts and then sprinkle in a few isolation exercises during the workout. This gives you the best of both worlds: efficiency, overall muscle growth, and balanced development. You may not care about your calves or your triceps or your forearms or really any certain muscles now, but in the future, down the road, you are going to seriously regret any imbalances you have. You may have noticed that some compound movements overlap with certain isolation exercises. For example, the bench press works the tricep while the tricep pushdowns also train the triceps. That's intentional, and it'll become important when we talk about training splits in the next section. Have you noticed that you can't train every single muscle as hard as possible every single day? That's where splits come in. A workout split is simply a way of organizing your training throughout the week so your muscles have time to recover and grow before you train them again. Some common splits include full body, upper lower, and push-pull legs. There are dozens of others, but these are the big three most beginners will encounter. So let's start with push-pull legs, the split I'm currently running, but I've ran upper lower before. Never quite done full body, but who knows, maybe I'll do it. Push-pull legs is exactly what it sounds like. Push day is dedicated to muscles involved in pushing things away from you. Think bench presses, incline presses, overhead presses, and similar movements. The primary muscles trained are usually the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Pull day is dedicated to pulling movements. Think pull-ups, rows, pull-downs, and similar exercises. These primarily train the back, rear delts, and biceps. I know back is loaded because you have a bunch of different muscles, but pretty much every back muscle is a pull muscle. Leg day is dedicated to your lower body, squats, Romanian deadlifts, leg presses, calf raises, and other exercises that train your quads, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. The reason many people like push-pull legs, or pull-push legs, or legs push-pull, etc., it's the same split. The reason people like push-pull legs, or at least the reason I do, it's better on time management because you're only doing one muscle group per day. Although it's dispersed throughout the week, so you have to do it more, but it's better day by day in terms of time management. I'm only in the gym for like an hour. Really, it's up to preference. All of them will work, but I like push-pull legs. It's also the stereotypical gym bro one, to my knowledge. Upper-lower is exactly what it sounds like. You do all your push and pull work on one day, and then legs on another. Upper-lower is good for time management in the long run, whereas push-pull legs is good for day-by-day time spent in the gym, but weekly you have to do push-pull legs, push-pull legs. Upper-lower, you have more room throughout the week to space it out. You could do upper-lower, rest, upper-lower, rest. You could do upper-lower, upper-lower, rest. You could even add an arm day, but I'm getting ahead of myself with the arm day. Upper-lower has its benefits because it has a lot of room for supersets. Supersetting, I shouldn't even talk about because this is a newbie. This is a newbie video, but if you'd like to know, a superset is basically when you do two workouts back-to-back, not resting in between. You really shouldn't worry about them as a newbie. However, it doesn't matter for this video. Look into it if you want, but it really doesn't matter right now. Remember back earlier in the video when we talked about compounds and isolations overlapping? This is where that comes in. Let's say you perform an overhead press on push day. The overhead press heavily trains your front delts while giving your side delts some work as well. If you want to emphasize your side delts more, you can add an isolation exercise such as lateral raises to do on that day. In other words, the compound movement builds the foundation while the isolation movement fills in the gaps. I know this isn't perfectly scientific in the way it is, but as a newbie lifter, that's all you need to know right now. And you can spice things up. Logically, you may want to isolate triceps on a push day, but some people train biceps on a push day and triceps on a pull day, for example. The basic philosophy of this is that these muscles aren't usually worked to their absolute limit on those opposing days, so adding a few sets of direct arm work often doesn't cause any issues with recovery. For example, training triceps on a pull day or biceps on a push day is generally not a huge deal if your overall volume and recovery are in check, i.e., you're training hard, but try things out. What sounds the best, realistically speaking, and what is most fun for you. That's the basic philosophy behind it all. Don't overthink this. Bodybuilding is a lot more flexible than you realize. I believe in you because I did it. God bless you all, and I hope you accomplish your dreams and the physique you want. And if this video helped you, a subscribe would be nice. And leave a comment down below, ask questions, and I'll help you out to my best ability. Thank you. Now we're in the Patreon section, and I still have no patrons. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep doing it because Patreon is the way to make money on here, sadly. I will never do sponsorships, so this is the only way. Our only patron is Alexander. Thank you, Alexander. You are much appreciated. Be sure to donate. Link in the description.